Guys, to the Sportology Show, Episode 2. My name is Vitor, and joining me today are Superneath, Samir, Sujay, and Pergun. Today we'll be talking about our Super Wildcard Weekend picks, and at the end we will share our entire playoff brackets. Let's start off things with the Colts and Bills playing on Saturday at 12:05 p.m. Superneath, you want to start things off?
Yeah, I guess I'll start things off. Um, I think I'll just start off with the first thing in that the Bills' offense is really good, so I feel like that's going to end up being the deciding factor in this game. Josh Allen has played an MVP caliber level. He'll probably finish in the top five this year. The Bills' defense has also turned things around after that horrible start to the season, and it looks like they're starting to finally get things going. So I think the Bills right now are probably the hottest team in the league, playing exceptionally well on offense and pretty good on defense. And the Colts defense itself is pretty good as well, but I feel like the Bills offense is just good enough to be able to overcome that really good defense. So for my game, I got the Bills winning this game, and I'll say around 28-21.
All right. I don't expect this game being close at all. The Bills are probably the biggest threat to the Chiefs right now. Their offense with Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley, and Josh Allen, obviously, which top 3 MVP candidate in my opinion, are absolutely on fire right now. The Colts run defense is really bad in my opinion. I think they're at the bottom 4 right now. And then they've been allowing a lot of yards, even though they're playing with player like Derrick Henry in their division. They're still allowing a lot of yards to running backs. Yes, Jonathan Taylor did have a career high night like last week, but I don't think he's gonna get anywhere with this Bills defense. They're average, but to have another one of those big games, it's really unlikely. The Colts offense is also like very what's the word? Inconsistent with the wide receivers being, good, I guess. Hilton's been doing pretty good recently, and Michael Pittman Jr. has been always like an average player. But besides that, I think it's going to be a Bills destruction. Bills 31, Colts 21. Is that my final game prediction?
All right. I'm also going to pick the Bills in this one, and mostly because Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are playing at a really high level, and it doesn't seem very wise to actually pick against the Bills considering the Colts' offense is not very good. And my prediction for the score is Bills winning 28-17, and the Bills will only score 28 points though because the Colts defense plays really well, but they're still going to win by a good margin.
I'm gonna go for a long shot here. I genuinely think. Now, normally I'm pretty reasonable, but I think the Colts are gonna win against the Bills. Here's a few reasons. It's playoffs. Everyone brings their A game here. There are many stuff like how Peter said that they allowed a lot of yards in the regular season, but from here on out, it's go hard or go home, or go big or go home. And so I feel like it's going to be a similar situation. Even if you remember between the Titans and Patriots a few years ago, I feel the Colts are going to pull a similar upset here, and stop the Bills. Now, the score obviously is going to be very close. I feel somewhere in the 20s range. If I were to say maybe 28-21 or 24-21, I would say. Um, and I don't know. I just have this belief in the Colts. I have belief in Rivers as the quarterback, and they have an overall good team. But again, it is a long shot, especially against a really, really good Bills team.
Okay, but you talk about the A game. You said the playoffs, right? Every team is gonna bring their A game. It's not gonna be one team or the other team. All teams are gonna be hungry for that Super Bowl trophy. And
Hmm.
you're talking about the upset of last year when it was the Ravens versus Titans, and the Titans upsetted. That's because they had a superstar player named King Henry, and he ran for almost 200 yards. And I don't see any of those big name players in the Colts on offense, especially. They have DeForest Buckner on defense, but besides that, on offense, no names that are coming at me like, oh, top 5 in this category or whatever. So, yeah, there's no way the Colts are gonna win this one.
So I
Okay,
see what you're saying there. There's the reason what I'm saying is I just feel like there's something in the Colts that we haven't seen yet. There's something I feel in the way they played in the regular season. there's something they haven't shown us yet, and I feel like that's going to come out in the playoffs, mainly because of bringing the A game. I understand that every other team is going to do that, wanting to get that trophy, but there's just this weird feeling that I have, something about the Colts that they're really going to show us in this game against the Bills.
Okay, I'll just point this out real quick. But remember, Josh Allen last year in his first playoff game didn't play all too well. He had a bunch of fumbles, a couple of interceptions and stuff. It looked like he wasn't ready for the big stage. So interesting is when you see how Josh Allen rebounds from that performance this year in the playoffs. And the playoffs is the biggest stage. We've seen players play amazing during the regular season, but maybe not so well in those playoffs. It happens. That's what Lamar Jackson's biggest critique is. It's the fact that he doesn't show up in the playoffs. So we'll have to see how Josh Allen responds this time after messing up last year. And the thing is that Philip Rivers is a veteran quarterback. It doesn't matter that maybe he isn't as good as Josh Allen this year currently in the regular season. Philip Rivers has that experience. He's been in the playoffs before. He's played in the big games, and he's actually played fairly well. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see. And I feel like the only way that the Colts do pull off this upset is if Philip Rivers plays probably one of the better games of the season, and if Josh Allen just doesn't play as well as he could.
All right. I guess I'll do my prediction. In my opinion, this is one of the most exciting games of the Super Bowl Wildcard weekend. We have one of the top offenses in the league in the Bills facing one of the top defenses in the league in the Colts. And then the Bills defense is also not bad, and the Colts offense is also not bad. However, for me, the matchup where the game will be won is a matchup between the Colts defense, the Bills offense. So the Bills offense can overcome the Colts defense and build an early lead, then the game's over for me. Because in my mind, the Colts' best offensive player is Jonathan Taylor. And if the Colts go down big early, then the problem with them is they can't run the ball that much. And Jonathan Taylor is not a back like Derrick Henry where they can just keep on feeding him even if they are down or if the game is close, because he's not a power back. He's more of a double threat, and he can get off those big runs. However, if the Colts go down by a lot early in the game, then the game's over for me. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen in the game. I think the Colts are going to go down early, by 14 or something. However, I do think they'll like bring it back a little bit towards the end. But I think the Bills will like when the game comes up, especially because they also have a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. They just dropped 50 plus in the last game of the season, which didn't even matter too much for the team. And Josh Allen didn't even play the entire game. Matt Barkley came in the fourth quarter, and he also performed very well. So the Bills have a lot of momentum, and I just don't see the Colts team overcoming the Bills. The Colts do have a solid team, don't get me wrong. However, they got really unlucky and they're playing the Bills in the first round. And the Bills are easily the best team in the AFC that's playing in the wildcard weekend. So for those reasons, I'm going to pick the Bills. However, I would just like to say that Rodrigo Blankenship was snubbed for the Pro Bowl. He should have been the kicker instead of Justin Tucker.
All right, so I think we should also be talking about All-Pro stuff today. After we finish, so I think we'll also head to that for a little bit. But yeah, our next game is the Seahawks at Rams, and right now, after seeing what happened last week, I really don't think the Seahawks can pull. Not as biased. Yes, I'm a Niners fan, but in true heart, I think the Rams will come out on top with their exceptional defense, with having the best tackle in the game, defensive tackle, and the best cornerback in this game. I think it's not even going to be close. If the Seahawks offense can be contained like it was for the first 3 quarters of last week's game, this team's going nowhere. The Rams offense is sometimes questionable, but they have weapons on their team. They have a average running back core, and their quarterback right now, I know they have some problems, but I think their defense can win this game for them. John Wolfhard is not that bad in the running game, especially. He had some good runs last week. So yeah, I think the Rams can pull out on top of this one. My score prediction is going to be 20-18 Rams win.
Okay, I guess I'll just get mine out of the way. I feel like it comes down to who's starting at quarterback. And don't get me wrong, John Wolford was pretty good in his debut. He was solid. He played well enough for them to win. but that's to the Cardinals, and this is to the Seahawks. And the Cardinals offense, especially without Kyler Murray, isn't as explosive as the Seahawks offense. And yes, we've seen the Seahawks offense get shut down by the Rams before. We've seen it happen in the first game that they met up. The Seahawks offense couldn't do anything. But I feel like since this is the playoffs, Russell Wilson and that offense will be ready. They'll be ready to play against that Rams defense. And for the Rams to win, they at least need better than solid quarterback play. They need good quarterback play. And the real question is if Jared Goff is ready to play. And if he is, and if he's not, like, if he's 100%, then that's good for them. But if he's not 100%, then it's going to be real rough for them because a quarterback returning from thumb injury won't be as successful as he is, like, normally, obviously. And I feel like it all depends on if Jared Goff is able to play well enough for the Rams to win. Because it all depends on Jared Goff, and he isn't the best of quarterbacks. He's a solid quarterback, but he's not the best. I think I have to go to Seahawks in this one and trust Russell Wilson and the better quarterback. And I'll just give a score prediction of 31-24 in a high-scoring game.
I'm also going to go with the Seahawks in this one. The Seahawks have a lot of offensive weapons, the two main ones being Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And I don't think DK Metcalf will get shut out like he has in a previous game against the Rams. And I think Russell Wilson will also play well against the Rams. And my score prediction is Seahawks winning 27-23. I just think that, like, especially at the quarterback position too, they got Jared Goff hurt, and then their backup has played well, but it's just not going to be enough to beat the Seahawks, which is why I'm going to pick the Seahawks in this playoff game. Also, Russell Wilson's postseason success should speak for itself when picking this game.
Okay, I'll let Samir go last. I'll go now. And I just forgot to do my picks for the other game, so I think the Bills are gonna win 24-17. Now moving on to this game, I'm gonna go with the Rams. The first time I completely forgot that Jared Goff wasn't starting. However, even if he doesn't start, I still think the Rams are winning. And I don't know why I thought the Rams defense is really going to shut down the Seahawks offense. I know Russell Wilson has showed up in the playoffs in the past. However, the Rams defense is also one of the top defenses in the league. They have arguably two of the top 5 defensive players in the entire league in all positions combined. And they have and they also have like other solid supporting players as well. And their offense is also like not that bad. The Rams offense has been holding its own weight in the team. They have been scoring when they need to, and Rams haven't gotten to too many high scoring games. And even against the Seahawks only scored in the first matchup, they only scored 16 points, and in second matchup they only scored 20 points. So Rams have been containing the Seahawks offense to a really low number of points. And also, I think one of the key matchups in this game is going to be Jalen Ramsey versus DK Metcalf, because DK Metcalf is one of the top breakout starters this year. He's arguably the top weapon on the Seahawks. He's overpassed on Tyler Lockett. He's a really good player. However, Jalen Ramsey is also one of the top cornerbacks, if not the top cornerback in the league. So it'll be really interesting to see who comes out on top in that matchup. And even if DK Metcalf gets locked up by Jalen Ramsey, I think the Seahawks to win this game, Tyler Lockett and the other receivers have to step up, and they have to provide Wilson with that support that he needs, because Wilson can't carry the team on his back alone. We saw in the beginning of the year, the Seahawks defense was doing really bad, and he had to carry the team, and the defense still has improved. However, I don't think the Seahawks will have what it takes to beat the Rams. And as Vito said before, it is a playoffs and anything can happen. So I'm saying the Rams are going to win. How it's going to be a really close game. I'm going to say the Rams win 23-20 in the game.
All right. Now, we all know that I'm a Seahawks fan, so no matter what, I can't leave them. However, the Seahawks have been pretty iffy lately. Russell Wilson and the whole team was pretty explosive in the first 5-6 games of the season, but his pace has really slowed down. As much as I want to believe in Russell Wilson. He definitely cannot carry this team to the win against the Rams. Now there is DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson. Some of these guys, Bobby Wagner, have a bunch of experience in the playoffs. And the Seahawks defense has stepped up, but the offense has slipped down a bit. So it's really going to be a game to see, okay, can Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense overcome this great defense and great players on the Rams defense? It's going to be a tough battle, and that's why I predict it is going to be a low-scoring game. For me, it's going to be the score might be 14-11 or something like that, with the Seahawks winning. Now, as you know, in the first 5 games in the season or something, Russell Wilson was in major contention and was thought to be a candidate for the MVP, but now he's not even in that front running race for that. So I think that also shows how much he's slipped down since the beginning. So hopefully he can bring his playoff self to bring a win against the Rams. But whichever team wins here, I genuinely don't think they're not going to get that far, and definitely not to the Super Bowl.
All right, Perun, you want to go?
For the Rams Seahawks?
Yep.
I already said my take on that.
Okay, my bad. All right, let's move on. So Sunday night, there's a game, very nice game between the future and the past of the NFL. We have Chase Young versus Tom Brady. Okay, honestly, I really hope Chase Young just absolutely mauls Tom Brady as the monster he is. Okay, defensive rookie of the year without doubt. He's gonna eat up Tom Brady all night. So the game's Saturday night and not Sunday night. My bad. I know I just said that. So yeah, I think the Washington football team is gonna come up with the upset here. Any football team haters, you can please leave the podcast now, because let's go football team. Yeah, and Terry McLaurin is obviously a big offensive threat. So when people say they don't have an offense, they sort of do. They have Terry McLaurin. J.D. McKissick is not a bad option either in the run game, and he also catches a lot of passes. Alex Smith, obviously, an historic comeback season. He isn't that bad either. He's average, but he wasn't the same he used to be. But I think that defense with Montez Sweat and Chase Young is really gonna stuff up Tom Brady and send him back to Giselle and the kids.
Okay, I'll take a page out of Stephen A's book. What you said right there was blasphemous. I'm sorry, but this is Tom Brady we're talking about and the Buccaneers against the football team. Okay, the football team has a really good defense. I'll give you that. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, that defense is amazing. But that offense is atrocious. They honestly are one of the worst offenses in the league. Alex Smith is okay, but the thing is, they're not doing good enough on offense for me to be confident that they're going to win this game. If they win, their defense will have to carry. They'll have to put the team on their back and win. But I just don't see that happening, especially against a really good Buccaneers offense. Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans might not play, but even then, you still have Antonio Brown, Gronk, Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette. That's still a really good offense right there. I just don't see that this football team offense is good enough to be able to overcome their limitations on offense to be able to win this game. I feel like that's just not going to be possible. And because of that, I'll be choosing the Buccaneers in a pretty, not a blowout, but I'll choose them with a comfortable win. I'll go 31-20.
Damn, we all must be sleeping on the football team still.
All right, I'm going to pick the Buccaneers because there's no way I'm betting against Tom Brady in the wild card round. There's no way, especially against a team that has absolutely no offense. And even though their defense is good, I feel like Chase Young's comments at the end of the Week 17 game where he said, "I want Tom," that's going to ignite a fire in Tom Brady, and he's about to go psycho on that. I think it's going to be bombs away for the Buccaneers, and I'll pick them 33-17 with the Bucs winning.
The only thing that ignites Tom is when he sees his son. No cap. All right,
CJ.
All right, CJ, you can go next.
I like that fun from you, for bombs away with the Buccaneers.
All right. So just out there, what Super was saying was complete blasphemy. And Pergun does have bias with Tom Brady because Pergun is a Patriots fan. Just so you guys know.
You're gonna bet
So
against him in the first round?
The real football fans out there will vote and want and know for a fact that the Washington football team is going to come out on top in this game. There's
Yes,
no
sir.
doubt about it. If they don't win, then I'm saying there's got to be some cheating happening.
Dude,
Okay.
it's a
Hang on.
win-win situation, bro. When you're underdog, it's a win-win situation. Look, they're a quote-unquote bad team, right? So if they lose, whatever. But if they win, dude, that's crazy, bro. If they win, dude, sorry.
They
My bad.
won't though.
Let me rephrase. When they win, not if. When they win.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
guys, this is what you think will happen, not what you want to happen.
No,
Just
it's
remember
what
that.
will happen. What will happen.
So obviously we all will have our biases in our choices. Again, I will go with the Washington football team. Their defense is going to annihilate Tom Brady. I say annihilate.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
logically, and we all know the strength of the Buccaneers. It is going to be a huge shock, a huge surprise if the football team does pull this off.
And the football team.
But there's just this gut feeling, just like I had with the Colts, that the Washington football team has such a great comeback story, and really does have a decent team under their hands. So with the experience and also the youngsters that they have, they could pull it off. But again, with the legendary players that are on that Buccaneers team, it is going to be a very, very tough feat for Washington to win that game, and that's the fact.
All right, Sujay.
All
ready
right.
for your
I just
opinion?
I need to get this out there. I just can't understand how you're gonna pick that horrible Washington football team offense. Like I just don't understand. And the Buccaneers defense is pretty good in itself.
Listen,
The Buccaneers
Super
defense-
we're not betting here. That's why I'm making this decision. If
I
we
put
were
money on it,
if we were putting
Money-
money into this, I definitely would go with the Buccaneers, no doubt about it.
Oh,
But
put money on anything, bro.
Right,
Watch the football team.
okay. I like how Vito said that the Washington football team is going to send Tom back to his kids. I think it'll be the opposite. I think Tom will send the kids back to their parents. Actually.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what's
know.
gonna happen.
I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game. However, I want to point out that Tom Brady's record in road games in the playoffs is 4-4, and his record, his primetime grade is 64.7, while his grade when he's not playing in primetime games is 94.7. So statistics do.
Yeah, bro.
not speak in
64%.
favor.
That's a team, bro.
However,
In my book.
he is playing against a Washington football team who, if I'm being completely honest, should not have made the playoffs in the first place. They made the playoffs because the Eagles purposefully blew the game just so they could get a better draft spot. So I do not think they will win this game. However, if the Washington football team does win this game, then that'll be like the biggest surprise story out of.
Okay, let's be
any
real
team.
today. Do you want them to
Okay.
win, though?
I don't want them to win. However, it is Tom
Wow.
Brady in the
You
playoffs.
don't want
Tom Brady in
the
the
Bucs
playoffs.
to win?
No,
You want Brady to win?
I don't want the Bucs to win, but it's Tom
okay,
Brady in
good.
the
Okay.
playoffs. It's Tom Brady in the
It's a sense of
okay, let me ask this question: who here wants the Buccaneers to win?
Yeah, man, Bucks all the way.
Hey guys, you gotta go into the comments and
Also,
blame Pergun right now, bro.
PTSD with Tom
I was
Brady,
gonna
man.
say,
That's why.
of all the games, the Buccaneers Washington football team game is the one that has the second highest difference between the percentages of people in the nation who think is going to win. It's
No,
78
that's not
to
right though.
22 right
They shouldn't
now.
be favored by 8 points. That's a little too much though.
No, it's 78 to 80%. However, Vito has been known to be right about predictions in the past, so I am pretty hesitant to pick the Bucs. However, it is the Buccaneers. They do have one of the best offenses in the league. They have arguably the best wide receiver core in the league, no doubt. I don't think you can debate that at all. They have three wide receivers who could be wide receiver ones on other teams if they went there. And they have two solid running backs as well in Rojo and Leonard Fournette. And they have Gronk. And Gronk and Brady in the playoffs, oh yes. That's some
No,
Right,
no,
if you
Gronk
want-
Oh
can't
yeah, I'm
run.
sorry. Gronk
Okay,
Gronk
if
is
you
not
want
going to be a
if
factor.
you want to bet on a coach that looks like a Guess Who character, honestly, you do you. You do you, okay? I'm taking the Washington football team in this. It's time. It'll be
I'm not talking about how they look. This might look. Jimmy Garoppolo should be the
However-
best quarterback in the league.
However,
Probably
if the
completely
Yeah,
Bills
he
honest.
is.
win this game,
Is he not?
it'll be the biggest prove yourself on the big stage win of the entire
Yep.
season, and
Alright.
probably in the last 10 years. Because you have a young team, a very young team with rising stars, rising feisty stars as well. Ones who want to start taking direct
Very
shots at other teams. If they win, like, it'll honestly be not on cloud 9. They'll be on like cloud like 55.
59.
Because they'll be like, yeah.
All right,
Last
I think we
big
should move
competitive,
on.
they'd be
We're gonna
10-0.
kind of hold up. We're gonna hold up in this. All right, the next game, we got Frogman and we got Derrick Henry. All right, so in my opinion, I think Lamar Jackson will come on top because 2 straight times went to the playoffs, took the L, especially last year. They're 14-2. They're expected to go to the Super Bowl. They're the Super Bowl favorites to win it all, and I feel bad for the Ravens. I want them to win actually this game. So I'm gonna pick the Ravens in this. I think Lamar is gonna, go off. Hopefully, he doesn't have to go to the bathroom. But besides that, I think he'll pop off in general. I'm gonna pick the score of 31-27.
Okay, I guess I'll give my take. I feel like the Titans are going to win this game, and both teams are very good. The Ravens coming here, they're hot. They've won a bunch of games in a row ever since that slow start, and now they're on a roll. Lamar Jackson playing like his usual self, and I just don't see them getting past the Titans because Derrick Henry has absolutely mauled this defense in the past, and we've seen it the past 2 times. They played 2 times in the past year or so, and Derrick Henry absolutely destroyed the defense both times. I just don't see it. I don't see the Titans losing if Derrick Henry plays like that. He had 190 yards last year in the playoffs against this Titans defense or against this Ravens defense. This Ravens defense hasn't changed much. The only player they added was Patrick Queen. So I still see Derrick Henry going off this game. And if Derrick Henry goes off, that opens up the passing game for the Titans. And Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown, Corey Davis are all going to eat in this game. Still, I feel like it's going to be a really close game because of how good that Ravens offense is. Lamar's going to play better than he has in the playoffs before. And I feel like it's going to be a really close, high-scoring game. So I got the Titans win this game 35-31.
Honestly, I don't
34-30.
care who wins, but I want the Ravens to win. So I won't be disappointed if the Titans win.
All right, I'm gonna pick the Ravens too. I think Lamar Jackson will come out on top on this time, and he's looking for revenge. And a lot of pressure's on him because a lot of people don't consider him as a good playoff quarterback. So I think he'll try to shut those voices down, and he'll come out on top in this game. Plus, I think the Ravens are gonna are going to take advantage of that Titans defense, which is actually not very good. And the Titans don't really have a passing game. I mean, Ryan Tannehill's there, but I don't consider him like an elite quarterback or anything like that. But that's just my
Hold
own
up,
opinion.
what?
No, he's not. The Titans are like in the 20s in the
Wait a
passing
minute.
rating.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait. They have AJ Brown and Corey Davis. I don't want to fight for the Titans side, but I'm just saying their passing game is prolific right now. I mean, they have 2 top 30
it's not that.
receivers,
It's not
1
that
top
good.
10 receiver.
It's worse. It's like it's ranked like in the 20s or something.
Okay, but in the situations, like if you take it, they have 2 above average and 1 great receiver.
Yeah, but if you take out Derrick Henry, their offense is pretty bad.
Oh, they have
Derrick Henry.
No,
play.
the offense will not be able to score that much if the Ravens are able to stalwart Derrick Henry.
But the thing is,
And I'll pick the Ravens 28-24.
No, but the thing is, how do you stop Derrick Henry? How do you stop Derrick Henry? Like,
you don't.
I think the Packers
say you
are a
take
good
out Derrick
example.
Henry. No, you say you take
The
out Derrick.
Packers.
Okay, but he still rushed for 96 yards. I wouldn't call it taking out. For any other back, that would be like a solid game. It's because it's Derrick Henry that we call it that they contain him.
Right,
But he
and
rushed for
that's what that matters. You're talking about Derrick Henry and not any other running back.
But last year in the playoffs itself, I don't think you remember this, but he had 190 rushing yards couple of touchdowns. He threw for a touchdown as well, and he stiff-armed Earl Thomas to retirement. Like, are you kidding me? Derrick Henry absolutely mauled that defense, and you're telling me that he's not going to shut down just randomly, just somehow?
No.
No, in my personal thing is if the Ravens were to win this game, they first of all have to stop Henry. If they can't do that, even if Lamar has the game of his life, runs like the game of his life, and throws like it's the game of his life, there's no way you can stop the Titans if you can't stop Henry. And that's what the Packers did in their game against the Titans. They were okay. Now 96 yards is still a really good game, but since we're talking about the King himself, the Packers are a good example on how to stop Henry and to limit his scoring. That's what the Ravens need to do if they want to win.
And what's your score prediction?
Mine is the Titans 27-21.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, we're here again. Last year, the same thing happened, and the Titans came out on top. This year, it's the same matchup, and it's going to be the same result. Titans come out on top again. Titans will win this matchup because the Ravens cannot stop Derrick Henry. And even, like, okay, let's say we take out Derrick Henry from the picture. Still, the Titans' offense is still a really good offense. Ryan Tannehill is honestly one of the most underrated QBs in the league. Like people think that he's not that good. However, he's really underrated. He's like a solid rusher, and he can also pass. And he has two really good wide receivers on his team that he can pass to. And also, I think this game will have like a lot of like long plays, like a lot of deep balls, a lot of testing the defense, especially because the Ravens have people like Marquise Brown on the team. And then AJ Brown and Corey Davis are both long ball candidates. They both can run the deep ball. They both can catch deep ball. So I think we'll definitely see some shots taken in this game. And I think that will also contribute to why this game will be such a high-scoring game because we're going to see some super long plays. However, for the Ravens to win, as everyone else has been saying, they need to stop Derrick Henry. And I just don't see them stopping Derrick Henry. It's really hard to stop him, especially once it gets towards the end of the game, because at the end of the game is when everyone else is tired. However, Derrick Henry isn't human, so he doesn't get tired. He just keeps on going. He's on going, and even if he doesn't have a good game at the beginning, he'll heat up towards the end, and he'll pull the game back, as we saw in the game this season where he won for them in OT, but on 30-24. So I just don't see the defense. They might stop him early. However, I don't see them staying with them as the game progresses because other players will get tired much faster than Derrick Henry will, and he's just a machine. He's just the king. Like, you can't stop Derrick Henry, especially if the game is close. Like, the game gets out of hand for Titans as a different story. However, the Ravens' offense isn't as prolific as it was last year, and last year they lost to the same Titans team. So I just don't see the Ravens going up like massively on the Titans and building such a large lead that Derrick Henry becomes like a non-factor. I see this game being a really close game, and close games Derrick Henry thrives. He thrives in pressure, he thrives in close games, and he thrives towards the end of the game, which is the reason why I have the Titans winning. However, it is going to be a really close game, and the final score for me is going to be 31-28.
All right. So
Yeah.
we're running out of time here, but we'll speed it up a little bit. The next game, if anybody has any other opinion besides the Saints winning this game, I don't think you should be in this podcast anymore. Okay, that was too far. But if you think the Chicago Mitch Trubisky looking ass Bears are gonna beat the Saints, I don't care what QB the Saints have. The Saints are gonna come down. They're in my opinion, in the league, they're the most well-rounded team and have the best roster. It'll be 31-12. 31-12, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's the final score.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out there, and obviously I feel like the Saints are gonna win this game. But let's not all just discount this Bears as just somehow they're gonna lose like in a blowout fashion and that it's never gonna be close.
Right.
There's no way. Don't act like that because this Bears defense is one of the few elite defenses in the league. Khalil Mack is a monster. Eddie Jackson, all of these players on defense, you have all these playmakers, all these stars. I feel like that will be enough to at least keep them in the game. I'm not saying they'll win, but that will be enough to keep them in the next game. And the Saints offense hasn't looked that explosive. Like we've seen this happen. Saints offense didn't show up a lot of in like a couple of games in this season against the elite defenses. So I feel like this Bears defense will be able to do just enough to keep the Bears in this game, but I still have the Saints winning this because this Bears offense is atrocious. And unless Mitchell Trubisky has the game of his life, I don't see the Bears winning this game. That's why I'll have the Saints win fairly comfortably, and I'll have them win 31-20.
All right. Sujay, Pergun, and Samir, do you all agree with the Saints are going to win?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I want to say, for me, the question is, how far the Saints going to go in the playoffs? Like, will they make it to the championship? Will they make it to, like how far are they going to go?
If Breeze and Kamara, and I don't know if Thomas is playing, if those three are on their field, I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm going to pick them to go to the Super Bowl if those three are playing. I don't know you need all three of those guys to go to the Super Bowl. But yeah, if those three are there, I think they have a good shot at winning that chip.
I mean, I think we all know the Saints. If the Saints don't win this game against the Bears, that's going to be another lost opportunity for Breeze. However, as to how far the Saints are going to go this year in the playoffs, I think it depends. Maybe if Breeze, Thomas, and Kamara are on the field, but also I feel NFC Championship is going to consist of the Packers versus the Saints. I think if that's, it's either one of those two teams that are going to the Super Bowl from the NFC side. That's for me.
Yeah,
Right.
I personally had the Saints going to the NFC Championship game, and I had the Packers going to the Super Bowl over them. But this Saints team is still pretty good. We've all seen it. But we've all seen the same story before. The Saints go to the playoffs. They're a really good team, facing off against a worse team, and they end up losing. This is the same exact thing that happened last year. They lost to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins was deemed not good enough in clutch games, not good enough in primetime games. He played the game of his life, and the Vikings win in overtime. So that's what I'm just saying. We should never discount a team in the playoffs because, as we all know, it's the playoffs. Upsets happen. But you can't just expect everything just to be normal and all chalk because that's not going to happen. So that's why I just feel the Saints, by their talent alone, should be able to win this game and be able to go to at least NFC Championship game. But since it's the playoffs, the Bears have a legit shot.
And someone brought up that the Saints are the most well-rounded team. I completely agree. I think the Saints are the most well-rounded team in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, so our last game, Corvette Corvette, Steelers versus Browns. So for anybody watching this game after Sunday when the Browns beat the Steelers, can you guys spam the comments with the lyrics for the song Corvette Corvette or Adderall, whatever it's called? I think it'll make my day and it'll blow up the comment section. So obviously by those statements, you know that I'm going to pick the Browns to win. They already won last week in a close game, but I don't know, man. Baker Mayfield's having one of the best years of his career. Myles Garrett, obviously a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Nick Chubb, an insane running back, easily a top 5 running back in the league right now. And yeah, everything's going for them. Jarvis Landry, a great player. And yeah, the Steelers have a lot to prove after questionable things that TikTok boy has done. But besides that, I got the Steelers winning. I got the Browns winning. Sorry, Browns winning 27-24.
Okay, Peter, I think I have to stop you right there. That's the second blasphemous thing you said today. You're telling me that the Browns, who haven't won in Pittsburgh since I think 2003 or 2002, they haven't won in Pittsburgh since then, let alone they haven't won a playoff game for over 20 years. They're just going to magically, the first year they make the playoffs again, they're going to beat the Steelers. And remember, last week, they won against the Steelers backup basically. Big Ben was resting. TJ Watt was resting. Cam Hayward was resting. Most of the Steelers' best players were resting in that game. Mason Rudolph almost led the Steelers to a win against the Browns. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Baker season. Baker wasn't even trying that hard. He didn't have to try that hard, bro.
All right,
They had to go for a playoff spot. The Steelers are going to win this game easy. And I feel like it's 31-17.
Okay, I'll pick the Browns over the Steelers. I'll
Yes,
pick them.
sir.
I'll pick them, but this is going to be a really close game, so I'm going to pick them by 1 point, 28-27. I think it's going to be really close, but I just feel like Baker Mayfield might come out on clutch, and he honestly plays better without A because he isn't force feeding the ball to him. And the Browns have been on a roll, and they've made this playoff push, so I think they're going to beat the Steelers.
All right, Samir and Suda, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I am gonna have to go with the Browns here.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Sabrina, but I just have
Hey, guys,
this faith,
you guys
this
can't
belief
possibly be.
in the
You
Browns.
can't
You know,
possibly be.
Sabrina brought up a very good point. The Browns haven't won in Pittsburgh in a very long time. The Browns haven't even been to the playoffs in the last 20 years.
And that
And
pushes
guess what?
them to win this game
That's
even
the
more.
reason they're gonna beat
Yes,
that's
yes,
the reason they're gonna beat the Steelers. Even if they
yes,
only
sir.
go that far after beating the Steelers. I mean, whatever it is, it's a big win for them that they were able to get to the playoffs. And I'm super happy for them. However, I do see them beating Pittsburgh this year because although you brought up a good point against Superneath, where a lot of the number one players were they're resting when the Browns beat them. I think the Browns still have that motivation, that drive that's continuing from that previous week coming into this week. I think that's going to push them to do their best, to win. That's why people play this sport. And so that's why I feel the Browns will pull off a really good game for almost every player on that team to be able to overcome and beat the Steelers.
Okay,
Yeah, bro.
when the
Ever
Steelers,
since ever since that game,
everyone
ever
just
since the
remember
game.
this.
Oh yeah.
When the Steelers remember this moment.
All right, we will.
What? All right.
All right.
Also, ever since that game when Odell Poopman Jr. went down, after that incident when he went down with his ACL injury or knee injury, whatever happened, the Browns have been a different team. Okay, they've been
No,
more
I was gonna say
prolific.
that.
They've been more like a new Brown, not a new Browns, but like they've had like something to play for. Jarvis Landry has been a really big leader in this team, and this is why I think the Browns are going to be at top of this game.
Yep. And Super's gonna blow a gasket, but I got the Browns winning as well. And I only got 2 words for you. Cody Parkey. This will be his revenge game.
Oh
This will be his revenge
yeah.
game. He's gonna win this game for the Browns. And not
I
just
think
him,
that's
the entire Browns team has been playing phenomenal towards the end of the season. The Steelers started off really hot, being the last undefeated team. However, they cooled off as the season went on. Might have to do with Julius Smith-Schuster. That's a little bit debatable. However, the Steelers have cooled off.
Like that.
But the Browns have been heating up ever since Odell got injured. It's like something got lit in the Browns. It's like a flame in the Browns. They've been playing phenomenal. Like Baker's been playing like he's blown expectations out of the water. I don't think anyone expected the Browns to not only make the playoffs but to also be 11-5 and to be contending for the division leaders as well. So I have the Browns winning this game. It is going to be a close game, like a few people said. I'm going to have the Browns winning 24-21 on a Cody Parkey game-winning field goal.
Double dink inside.
I think Cody Parkey that close to my side though. He double doinked if you guys don't remember.
He's gonna double dink in
This is his revenge game. This is revenge.
revenge game, revenge season, bruh.
He double doinked. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. That wraps it up for the playoff games, but I don't think any of us had problems with the all pro team except for Superneath wanting DeAndre Hopkins in the first team over Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's a fair point, but I personally would have taken Tyreek Hill, which it should have been. And the biggest one, and we all could agree on, how in the world did Cole Beasley make the all pro second team over Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen? Who else did he make it over?
Terry.
Terry McLaurin. Yeah, Terry McLaurin. Yeah.
AJ Brown as well. I don't think he made it, right?
I don't think AJ Brown made it either. Yeah, he made it over AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, and Allen Robinson. And let me just pull Cole Beasley for a second. And I don't even think he reached 1,000 yards this year. No, he only had 967 yards this year, 82 receptions, only 4 touchdowns. I don't really understand how that gets him the All-Pro second team.
Hey, no. It has
more
to be
yards.
the hair. Only explanation is the hair. Has to be the hair.
No, it has to be because the Bills have one of the best records in the league. That has to be the bias. That's got to be the only reason that Cole Beasley made it over all those other players. Like I still don't understand how Cole Beasley made it over those players when he doesn't even cross 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, no hate to Cole Beasley. He's a good player. He's an underrated player. However, he should not be making this bad, especially because he's not even the number one wide receiver on his team. He's number 2 wide receiver on his team, and these guys haven't carried their wide receiving corps on their back the entire season long.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. But
All right, so I think that'll wrap it up. We're also gonna make our playoff predictions, like a full bracket, and we're gonna upload pictures onto this YouTube video. Our editor Samir I will do that. Editor and obviously co-host. So we're gonna have that, and yeah, I hope you guys had a good listen. It's been real. It's been a good season. Don't be shy. You can always join the Niners bandwagon next year when we get Deshaun Watson. You heard it here first. So yeah, Super Knee, you can end it off.
yeah, thank you guys for watching this video and listening to our podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let everyone know when the Steelers win. Let everyone know in the comment section that they were all wrong. Okay. Thank you guys for watching,
Yeah,
though. Once again,
And remember,
see you guys.
stay safe and go Washington football team.